Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make red velvet whoopie pies with a marshmallow filling. Now, I've had a lot of you ask me if I could show you this version of a whoopie pie because I did make a chocolate version, and so I figured there's no better time than the present. So let's get started. The ingredients you'll need to make the actual pies, the dough, are some all-purpose flour, cocoa powder unsweetened, baking soda, baking powder and salt, sugar, an egg, some unsalted butter. Ideally you want it softened. Mine melted a little because it's been sitting on the stove. Buttermilk, some red food coloring, and you're going to need some vanilla extract. And just a few minutes, once these are going into the oven, once they're in the oven, I'll show you how to make the filling as well. So easy. I've got my oven preheated to 350. I've got a couple of baking sheets ready with some parchment paper so that we're ready to rock and roll. I'm only making a couple dozen today, but you can of course double the recipe and it'll make about 4 dozen. So it's up to you. Problem is, those 4 dozen, I will eat them. You got the drift. I'm gonna make mine in my standing mixer. The first thing I'm gonna do, of course, I have it with a paddle attachment hooked on. I've got my butter. I have my oven preheating, and sometimes what I'll do is I will put my butter onto my stove as my oven preheats, and sometimes, as you can see, it starts to melt it a little bit, but that's fine. It'll be okay. I'm just going to cream these two together for about a minute. I'm going to add my egg along with just a splash of vanilla. Not too much, just a little bit, and I'm going to let that go for a couple of minutes as well. I just want to make sure it's well incorporated. You know, the egg and the butter and everything is nicely incorporated. Okay, and of course you want to make sure to just give everything a mix and a stir around the sides with a spatula every minute or so. And then I'm going to add all of the dry ingredients at once, and then along with that I'm going to add some buttermilk. Lift this up and then just mix it until you can see you've got a creamy batter. It will be thick, but that's what you're looking for. And then at that point, I can start adding my food coloring. Now I can start adding some food coloring, and you add enough until you get your desired color. So you can also, you don't have to do red. You can do green for St. Patrick's Day. You can do purple for Easter. You get it. You got it. I'm just going to keep mixing until it's the right red for me, and then I will show you what it looks like when it gets there. That looks excellent. Just make sure, like I said, you give everything a mix with your spatula, just in case there's a few things under there that haven't been incorporated. And then I just take a small ice cream scoop, the equivalent of about a tablespoon, and you just make your little mounds, and you want to make sure you place them a couple of inches apart because they do spread. So I'm going to make about 2 baking sheets worth, and then we'll bake them. Okay, last one. I'm just going to pop these in. I've got both baking sheets ready. They'll take about 10 to 12 minutes. You'll know they're done when they you touch the top of each one and it kind of springs back. You know they're done. And then as soon as they go in, I'm going to clean up and then get going on making our filling, which we need to do right away. To make the filling, you're going to need some confectioner's sugar. This is some marshmallow fluff. You'll find it in just your regular grocery store near the peanut butter and stuff like that. I've got some unsalted butter that's been softened at room temperature. I also have a little bit of cream cheese that's also been softened, and some vanilla extract. This is so easy and so simple. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make it in my mixer here. I'm going to take my butter and my cream cheese, and I'm just going to let that mix for a few seconds just to loosen it up a bit. Alright, just like to get some of that stuff off. Let me lower this. I'm going to add pretty much everything else at this point. I've got my sugar, my marshmallow fluff. Be careful because this is very, very sticky, so have patience. Get it all off of here. And a splash of vanilla, and now all I'm going to do is mix this on medium speed for about 2 minutes or until it's really lovely, thick, and well incorporated. Excellent. Okay, so get this all off of the beater here. Now, a lot of people will go ahead and frost them right now, which you can, but The thing about the marshmallow fluff is that I don't know if you can see, but it gets really loose. So what I like to do is I like to pop this into a bowl and then place it in the fridge. And then what happens is it kind of hardens a little, and it makes it a lot easier for the filling to actually stay in the whoopie pie. But if you are not going to serve them right away, you're going to want to put them in the fridge, because you can't keep them at room temperature, because the filling will sort of melt and loosen and become a mess. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover this. I know it looks like a little, but it's very, very rich and sweet, so a little goes a long way. I'm going to cover this with some plastic wrap, and I'm just going to stick it in the fridge for about half an hour to 45 minutes or so, and then we'll get going on stuffing them. All right, my little cakes are ready. My frosting has had some time to set. And what I like to do on the serving platter you're going to serve them on, go ahead and sprinkle just a little tiny bit of powdered sugar at the bottom of your serving platter, because it helps them not stick to the serving dish. How many times can I say serving platter? So I know that each baking sheet has 15 little cakes on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a dollop of this frosting on each one. Now these are obviously small, because that's just what I wanted to make smaller sizes. See, this is what it'll look like that. How adorable. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop them on there. If you want to, you could absolutely make really big ones, like with a big ice cream scoop. That would be really cool. I've done it when I made my my chocolate ones. I used a whoopie pie pan. You don't need it. You don't need it. I find it, to me, to be honest, it's useless, because they come out just as well, if not better, when you do it this way. So there goes that. For what it's worth, you don't need a special pan to make whoopie pies. Don't they look so cute? Now this one has my name written all over it. I can just see it with my own 2 eyes. So I'm just gonna squidge. Look at that. Look how beautiful that filling is. It's not grainy at all, because we give it time to mix, and then also it's had time to set, so it's not running off all over the place. But like I mentioned, if you're not going to eat these right away, make sure you store them in the fridge. Otherwise, the filling will soften. I love this so much. I want to cry. In my opinion, they're the perfect size, because they're so rich and amazing. I hope that you give these a try. I promise you they will not disappoint. They are phenomenal, and I know you will love them. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. I hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!